Hello, everybody. It is Menopause Taylor bringing you the state of menopause in the world today. And we are moving right along in this menopause education. And I get on the radio and talk to you every week. And I just love the way you're learning so much. And I think that this series is somewhat akin to Menopause University, don't you? I mean, in every radio broadcast, I shock you with facts about this or that. And today, I'm going to shock you with some mantras. Mantras. Have you ever heard the word mantra? A mantra is a phrase that you hear repeated over and over again. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it isn't. Now, the problem with mantras is that once they're mantras, people tend to stick to them whether they're true or not. And I'm talking about mantras today because there are a variety of mantras in the world of menopause, some true and some untrue. But how are you to know the difference? I consider it my job to equip you with all the tools you need to successfully manage your menopause with whichever kind of professional you choose. But different professionals have heard different mantras. And some of them practice by those mantras, whether they're true or not. So I'm going to address some of these mantras and make sure you know whether each one is a myth or a matter of fact. This broadcast is called Menopause Mantras, Mythical or Matter of Fact. So you should definitely listen to this broadcast because I promise you that there's a mantra or two lurking behind what your menopause professional says or does. And a mantra stated with conviction, no matter how mythical, can defy all logic. So I'll present the mantras one at a time, and I'll give you a chance to guess as to whether it's a myth or a matter of fact. And then I'll reveal which it is and explain. Okay, mantra number one. Estrogen dominance is a hormonal imbalance that causes all sorts of problems. What do you think? Is it a myth or a matter of fact? If you've been watching my YouTube videos or listening to these broadcasts in order, this one should be easy for you because I have covered it in a bunch of broadcasts and in a bunch of my videos. I did a bunch of stuff on estrogen dominance. So you should know that this mantra or any ramification of it is a myth. Do you remember the TV show called The Newlywed Game? You have to be really old to remember it. They used plaques to reveal their answers. And they did things that were somewhat like myths or mantras, and you had to guess what was right. I really liked that show. And the fact is that estrogen dominance is something you have in the first half of every menstrual cycle you ever have. And it's what you have during perimenopause too. So every woman on earth has episodes of estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance constitutes about half of your reproductive life. So if estrogen dominance were abnormal or dangerous, every woman would have all the problems that are falsely attributed to it. So this estrogen dominance thing is a myth. Okay, here's mantra number two. Estrogen causes cancer. Is that a myth or a matter of fact? Please tell me that you've either watched my videos or listened to the broadcasts on this. If you have, you definitely know the answer to this one. If you've watched my video or listened to the broadcast on this, you know that the correct answer is, it depends on the kind of cancer. You see, the word cancer is kind of like the word car. How many different types of cars are there? Other than the fact that they all provide a means of transportation, how similar are they? Gosh, they differ in just about every aspect: size, color, luxury, horsepower, number of seats, etc. So it is a matter of fact that estrogen causes uterine cancer. Estrogen thickens the lining of your uterus, which can lead to uterine cancer unless it sheds or unless you take estrogen with progesterone so that it never thickens in the first place. But estrogen does not cause breast cancer. In fact, what causes breast cancer is the cyclic activity of estrogen with progesterone. And the more cycles you've had in your lifetime, the greater your risk for breast cancer. That is a matter of fact. Okay, mantra 3. It's better and safer to use progesterone instead of estrogen for post-menopause. What do you say? Myth or matter of fact? Once again, I have covered this in a variety of broadcasts and YouTube videos. This is why I always tell my students to watch or listen to everything in order. So reviewing this, do you remember the 3 bears from the fairy tale Goldilocks and the 3 bears? Testosterone is Papa Bear's hormone. Estrogen is Mama Bear's hormone. And progesterone is Baby Bear's hormone. Does it make any sense at all to think that you, Mama Bear, can meet all your needs with a hormone that is only for supporting Baby Bear during your pregnancy with Baby Bear? Well, of course not. Estrogen has about 100 functions in your body. Progesterone had 1, and that 1 function wasn't even for you. It was for Baby Bear. So it's an absolute myth and a very costly one to think that you can use progesterone instead of estrogen for anything. All right, mantra number 4 is bioidentical hormones are better. Is that a myth or is it a matter of fact? You know, I've taught you about this in a whole lot of radio broadcasts and a whole lot of videos. Now, this particular mantra is one that is uttered or declared by lay persons much more than it is by professionals. And the fact is that most of the people who say this really can't define what they mean by the term bioidentical. It's one of those latest and greatest types of claims that makes you think it's the thing to use. But I don't like words like better or worse, right or wrong, good or bad in terms of judging options for menopause. The fact is that nothing is good, better, or right for every woman or for all women. And even if something is advantageous in some ways, there are always disadvantages also. So this mantra is theoretical, not actual. In one of the very earliest parts of this education, I taught you that sometimes your brain and your body don't agree. Something that sounds like a great idea may or may not actually work for you. So theoretically, bioidentical hormones are hormones that are identical to those in your body. And theoretically, that makes them sound like they should work better and produce fewer side effects. But in reality, they don't always work that way. Another misconception about bioidentical hormones is that they come from only compounding pharmacies. That's not true. Most of the pharmaceutical HRT products are also bioidentical. So this mantra about bioidentical hormones being better is a complete myth. Whatever works better for you is better for you. Okay, mantra number 5. Estrogen vaginal creams that confine themselves to just your vagina are a better and safer option than estrogens that circulate throughout your body. Is that a myth? Or is it a matter of fact? Shockingly, this mantra is held both by lay persons and many professionals. And again, it depends on your goals. It is true that estrogen vaginal creams go into your vagina and stay in your vagina. They do not distribute estrogen anywhere else. They are specifically and solely for the purpose of alleviating your vaginal symptoms of menopause. So if that's your goal, then fine. But because estrogen vaginal creams do not circulate throughout your body, they cannot benefit you in any other way. They cannot alleviate any of your other symptoms of menopause. And they cannot prevent any of the diseases associated with menopause, like heart attack, osteoporosis, or Alzheimer's disease. So if vaginal dryness, itching, burning, and all of that is your only symptom, and you have no desire to reduce your risks for these diseases, then estrogen vaginal cream may be the best thing for you. Or if you can't take any form of estrogen that circulates throughout your body, then estrogen vaginal cream may be the right thing for you. But to say outright that estrogen vaginal creams are better or safer is just a myth. Are you starting to see why mantras are problematic? You see, they're too general, and people take them too literally and apply them too broadly. Okay, now for mantra number 6. The only purpose of HRT is for alleviating the symptoms of menopause. Is that a myth, or is it a matter of fact? Now, if you've been listening to my broadcast, I have covered this. I presented a broadcast about the primary versus the secondary purposes of HRT. In fact, I presented 3 broadcasts on that and 3 videos on that. The primary purpose of HRT is for alleviating your symptoms of menopause. The secondary purpose of HRT is for preventing diseases associated with menopause. You get the secondary benefits as a perk of using HRT for its primary purpose. So this one is a myth. There isn't only one purpose for using HRT. There's a primary purpose and a secondary purpose. Okay, now for mantra number 7. HRT should be used in the lowest dosage for the shortest time. Take a guess. Is that a myth, or is it a matter of fact? Now, this is one you'll hear a lot from professionals. You'll hear it mostly from the professionals who help you manage your menopause, but have the least expertise in doing so. It's sort of a comfort zone for them. It's like stopping short of making a full commitment. It enables to give you enough estrogen to possibly meet some of the primary purpose of alleviating some of your symptoms of menopause. But it may rob you of getting the secondary benefits of preventing heart attack, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's. But you know, there's also sort of a ring to it. I mean, you like the way it sounds. Lowest dosage, shortest time. It makes you feel like you're just doing the bare minimum, and that makes you feel like you're doing no harm. It appeals to your fear about hormones. I guess it's analogous to being a little pregnant. Well, you can't be just a little pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not. You can't have it both ways. So taking the lowest dosage for the shortest time may be catchy, but it completely misses the boat if you want any of the long-term benefits of HRT. Do you remember when I taught you about guidelines in previous broadcasts? Some of the guidelines actually